Hello everyone! Kevin Carpenter here with another City of Mist video. We're taking it a bit more casual this one. There's no script in front of me because today we're going over the City of Mist Case Concept Generator, a free PDF download you can find on the City of Mist website that allows you to randomly create or help you create any City of Mist case you want. This can be used for your home games, this can be used for cases you sell on the City of Mist garage. It doesn't matter. This free PDF, did I mention it was free? Can help you create your City of Mist case. And today, I'm going to be making a case completely from random, just by following along with the Case Concept Generator. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's start out with step one, the story seed. This determines, who or what is the source of the problem, what's their mythos and logos, how's the crew get involved, the core concept of the case before we get into the true nuts and bolts. So for this first table, I'm just going to be going through each of the tables. First table, pick a roll to determine how awakened the NPC rift is. So roll a d6. And by the way, I'm rolling the custom City of Mist dice. And as you can see from my dice rolling cam, they have 12 sides, but they are still 6-sided dice, with the 6s being represented by the Logos and Mythos logos. Or Logos and Mythos signs? Logos. When one of the words is Logos, it's a little weird. Anyway, let's get rolling. So, 1d6. 5. Alright, so our rift is legendary. The rift has almost entirely opened up to her mythos and is less involved in her mundane life. Nevertheless, she still has one last thing that keeps her grounded. Okay, so we got a legendary rift. This is going to be a big one. I'm seeing some fight scenes going on. Alright, so now for these next tables, we're rolling d66, which is basically rolling 1d6 for the tens place number, and then another d6 for the ones place number. So if you roll a 6 and a 3, that's a 63. So let's do this. We got... That is going to be a... I probably should have specified which dice was the 10s and which one was the 1s. I'm going to say Mythos is 10s, Logos is 1s. That's going to be a 46. So let's see here. Prince. So a Prince Mythos, like Lancelot, Panji, Paris of Troy. Okay, so like a Prince Charming kind of thing. Now let's look for the Logos before we start making some decisions. Another D66. That is a 41. Mailroom clerk. Huh. Okay, alright. And then table 4. Pick or roll to determine how they awakened. Oh, that's just 1d6 this time. 1. Gradually, she started noticing strange things about herself, her life in the city, about her family, friends, or co-workers. Okay. So we've got a legendary rift, one who's very much in touch with their mythos, who has powers galore, who is just a few steps away from becoming a full-fledged avatar. The mythos is a prince. They awoke as a mailroom clerk, and it was a gradual thing. So I want to say, the first prince that comes to mind is Prince Charming. And so if their Logos is a mailroom clerk and they gradually awoke, then, perhaps they were just seeing the different people that come in through the post office. Maybe they were looking into people's mail, which is, a felony, don't do that. But something that they kept seeing in their job as a mailroom clerk gradually awoke them to their mythos. So what are they doing? Well, I guess that's where we're going on to our next tables, their mythos motivation and their logos motivation. So, D6 for the mythos motivation. 6. All right, that is to become who she is at the end of her story, physically and or mentally. Okay, so Prince Charming is trying to fulfill their mythos. I think they're trying to get the girl. Or slay the dragon. There's a lot of room there, but Prince Charming is trying to be Prince Charming. Okay, pick a roll for their Logos motivation. This is a D66, so I need 2 dice. Mythos for the 10s, Logos for the 1s. That is going to be 51. Okay. Attract or date someone. Well, that's just that's just perfect. Okay, so Prince Charming is trying to find their damsel in distress, their princess in the tower. And this mailroom clerk is going to find them no matter what. Okay, So now we get to the crime, wrong, or problem tables. And this is for the crime at the center of our case. Once again, it's another D66. Whoop. So that's 54. I'm rolling a lot of 50s today. Robbery. All right, so Prince Charming is in search of their damsel in distress, the princess that is trapped in the tower. So, yeah, I mean, like, you know, in order to rescue someone trapped in the tower, you got to break into the tower first. So let's see here. All right, we've got a few more tables. Pick or roll for the wrong at the center of your case. That's the next one. 1, betrayal. Okay. Ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend. We'll figure out the genders when we get near the end of this. Pick or roll for the problem at the center of your case. That is a 5. Misfortune, whether by pure chance or mythically induced. Huh. And pick or roll for the rift's involvement in the case. Okay, let's get all these together before we start saying stuff. 5 again. The rift is a victim of a crime or is used by someone else for some wrongdoing, either knowingly or unknowingly. Okay. Ooh, okay. This might change with some of the other tables we roll, but I'm starting to think that like Prince Charming here, you know, the mailroom clerk, I'm gonna go with he. He, you know, what's a mailroom clerk? You know, just kind of like sorting through people's mail, seeing everyone living like very, you know, much more interesting lives. And he had a girlfriend, and then there was a robbery at the place, and you know the guy couldn't do anything during the robbery. Something was stolen, maybe a burglar beat him up or something like that. But basically through this like traumatic event, his girlfriend broke up with him, and so you know after that there was sort of this like latent trauma. You know, he went back to work. And then as he starts seeing, you know, like more and more people live more and more interesting lives, he starts thinking more and more about, you know, the girlfriend who broke up with him after, you know, this traumatic event. You know, that's when his rift starts awakening as Prince Charming. And now he gets this feeling of like, oh, I need to break into the tower to save the damsel in distress. And this is legendary. I imagine since this was like a gradual like rift awakening, you know, like suddenly it's like boom, powers everywhere. So it's like, oh, this is someone on like a warpath. This would be a bad, you know, thing to get into. All right, so let's get into the next tables: scope, theme, and format tables. So table, let's see, 11. Pick or roll for the scope of your case. 5, deep, an intra-organizational investigation, such as police internal affairs dealing with large-scale corruption. All right, now we're getting into some weird stuff here. All right, I might have to change what I was just talking about. Next, pick or roll for the theme of your case. Okay. Illegal or unethical experiments. Okay, so with these tables, you can also choose, you know, which ones you want. And for this one, I would probably go with like Love Triangle Gone Bad, just to kind of fit with my own predetermined narrative. But since I'm doing this entirely at random, I got to fit intra-organizational investigation and illegal and unethical experiments. So this mailroom clerk had a lot going on, apparently. So was the mailroom like part of like a Helix Labs experiment? You know, the big company that always seems to be in the background of all the, you know, the unethical experimentation? Or is he like stumbling on something? Or is his girlfriend like working at Helix Labs, or like or maybe with the gatekeepers or another organization? This is just like, you know, a City of Mist case. You know, we're going into like this like simple thing and suddenly unveiling like a very complicated thing in the background. Next table, pick or roll for the format of your case. This might be able to shed some light on how we're going to be able to fit all this together. So another D6. 4. Okay, a quest narrative. The protagonist set off in search of some sort of prize or to achieve a certain goal. Huh. It's interesting that we got the quest narrative with a rift of Prince Charming. Oh, here might be a thing. What if Prince Charming was the one that hired the crew? Yes. Okay. Prince Charming hires the crew, says that his damsel in distress has been kidnapped. And, you know, the Prince Charming rift is, of course, saying this in, like, Logos terms, like, oh, my girlfriend has disappeared. The last time I saw her was here. I think something bad happened to her. And then slowly, you know, as the crew is revealing all of this, like, dark stuff, it's also revealing Prince Charming's true intentions. But there's still some unanswered questions, so let's go into more of the tables. So our next section in the case concept generator is the hooks table. So we got 2 tables here. Pick or roll for how the crew hears about the case. Okay, that's another D6. I'm getting so many 5s on this Mythos die. Reports of crime in the media draw the attention of the crew based on issues that matter to them. Okay, they hear about the kidnapping in the news. They go to interrogate Prince Charming, who is a mailroom clerk. Okay, next table. Pick or roll for when the crew comes in. 1. The deed is done. The crew must find the perpetrator. All right, it's already happened. Cool. So there's so much going on. We've got so many disparate pieces that haven't been connected yet, and we still need to connect them, and we have one more table to go. Last page of the document, developing the backstory. Pick or roll for unexpected developments to the backstory. Now, I think this might be the thing that ties it all together. Let's roll. 1d6. 3. Remember that other incident. The main rift involved is not the only side to the story. There are multiple parties involved and their actions had different consequences that floated up separately but are in fact tied. Or, the crimes, wrongs, or problems didn't have only one effect. They had multiple consequences that only appeared unrelated. Okay. Okay, we've got all the pieces. So, got it. So, we have this rift. We're going to name him Malcolm Charm, Rift of Prince Charming. Malcolm Charm, not actually a pretty charming guy, at least in his regular life. He's a mailroom clerk, but he's got a lovely girlfriend. You know, he's just kind of like living his life. But then one day, there's a break-in in his home, a robbery. We'll be really on the nose here and say that the Rift of the Dragon breaks into his home, wrecks his place, kidnaps his girlfriend, and the Rift of Prince Charming awakens to these powers, and suddenly he's on a quest. So the crew hears about the kidnapping on the news, goes over to Malcolm Charm, they talk to him, and of course Malcolm Charm is like, I need to join you guys for this. I have an idea of where my girlfriend might have been kidnapped to, but you guys need to help me break into, we're gonna say Helix Labs. Prince Charming asks the crew to break into Helix Labs to save his girlfriend. There we go. That's a fantastic City of Mist case right there. And so with the interorganizational problems, you know, they break into Helix Labs at a certain point, and through finding all these different secrets, find out that not only is there like some sort of weird pseudo-civil war going on in Helix Labs between a bunch of different divisions, but also the girlfriend hasn't been kidnapped. It was all a cover to go back to her secret job as one of the administrators of Helix Labs. She instigated her own disappearance in order to get back to her work without having to put on this civilian cover. And I think saying to the Rift of Prince Charming that the princess in the tower doesn't want to go back with you, I think that will create a big enough climactic scene for the crew to have to figure out, like, can we stop whatever's going on? Do we have to take down Prince Charming before he inevitably, like, loses control of his powers? Perhaps they're doing an experiment that leads into another case. There's a lot here, and this is just off some, you know, rolling off of tables. Okay, this was a lot of fun. I'm going to write down all these details while they're still fresh in my mind because I might actually develop this case. But before I go, you can find the case concept generator on the City of Mist website at cityofmist.co. Once again, it's a free download, so you can use it to create a case from scratch, you can use it to flesh out a case you're having trouble writing, you can use it to create a case that you sell on the City of Mist garage. But before I go, check out the City of Mist Discord if you want to join other people who are also in the City of Mist, if you want to join a group, if you want to discuss City of Mist, tell us about what you think about our videos on social media, in the comments, and before I go, there's always one last message that I give to people because it's important above all. Have fun!